So, LeBron James decides to opt in, but with some additional news, Dorian Finney Smith actually decided to opt out. What does this mean for the Lakers going forward? Let's talk about it. Before we get started, if you could do me a huge favor and drop a like on the video and make sure to subscribe so you don't miss out on any future Lakers and other sports content. All right, so LeBron James opted into his $53 million contract, 52.6 to be exact. What does that mean? Well, essentially, we'll get the basics out of the way first. That money is on the book, okay? Lakers can't touch it. It's taken, and any option for LeBron James to take a pay cut is officially off the table. I've seen a lot of traffic online. People are upset. They're dragging LeBron James, trying to say that he doesn't care about winning championships, really. If he did, he would have taken a pay cut, blah, 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 blah. So I want to clear up a couple misconceptions regarding this whole pay cut thing, because a lot of people got it wrong. First and foremost, if LeBron James, for example, okay, let's say LeBron decided to take a $20 million pay cut, okay? It's not like that's $20 million that the Lakers have to play with. They have all this money. They can go sign, whoever they want. That's not how it works. The Lakers are hard capped at the second apron. And what that means is they're only allowed access to the taxpayer mid-level exception, which is about $5.6 million. If LeBron James took a pay cut, all that means is that taxpayer mid-level exception goes up to the full player mid-level exception, which is about $14 million or so. So technically, could it have helped? Yes. They could have used that $14 to $15 million to try to sign another free agent in the offseason. But again, it's not like this is just earth-shattering money that, they can sign another superstar and the Lakers are going to win a championship. Not the case. So the whole pay cut thing has been blown way out of proportion. Now, that being said, him opting into this contract, along with the comments that he made publicly through his agent Rich Paul, it says quite a bit, and we're going to get into it. But before we do, let's take a listen to lead NBA insider Shams Charania as he gives us a little bit more insight to this whole situation, man. Let's check it out.
Phil, LeBron James is opting in to his nearly $53 million player option for the 2025-2026 season. But I'm told he wants to compete for a championship next season, and he is uncertain about the Lakers roster. James is supportive of the Lakers positioning themselves around Luka Doncic, building for the future.
Now, in terms of the comments that LeBron James made public, again, through his agent Rich Paul, I can read that off for you guys as well. It says here, LeBron wants to compete for a championship. He knows the Lakers are building for the future. He understands that, but he values a realistic chance of winning it all. We are very appreciative of the partnership that we've had for 8 years with Jeanie Buss and Rob Pelinka, and consider the Lakers as a critical part of his career. And he continues to say, we understand the difficulty in winning now while preparing for the future. We do want to evaluate what's best for LeBron at this stage in his life and career. He wants to make every season he has left count, and the Lakers understand that, are supportive, and want what's best for him. So what does all this mean? Well, other than the obvious, what he literally said, he wants to compete for a championship. He still believes that at this stage in his career, with the level that he's playing at, he can compete to win it all. But what this also says, or at least how I'm interpreting it, is he has very little faith in Rob Pelinka and the front office to make the necessary moves for the Lakers to compete for a championship. And to be honest, I don't disagree with him. I don't blame him whatsoever. Rob Pelinka's track record over the past, I would say, 3 off seasons has not been great. And it's difficult because a player like LeBron James, who you understand doesn't have very many years left, but at the same time, last season, he finished, 6th for most valuable player of the year votes. He was second team all NBA. He played at a very high level. He averaged basically 24, 8 and 8 on efficient shooting. The guy is still playing at a very high level. At the absolute worst, he's a second option. So I understand where he's coming from. And by him opting into his contract, he's basically saying, listen, I want to be a Laker. I want to stay here and I want to compete for a championship here. But if you're not going to make the necessary moves, remember, this is my contract now. I have a no trade clause and I want to win. So if you're not going to come through, I just might ask for a trade, and there's nothing the Lakers can do about it, again, because he has a no trade clause. And how can you blame him at this point? Everything that he's done for this Lakers organization, a lot of people forget just how in bad shape the Lakers were before LeBron James showed up. They were one of the worst, if not the worst teams in the league. I'm a Lakers fan, I know. So I had to live through that. So I get it. I don't blame him one bit. Would it have been nice to see him take that pay cut? Yes. But at the same time, would have been even better if Rob Pelinka was able to pull off a few moves to to encourage him to take that pay cut, as opposed to him saying, hey, listen, I'm going to give me my money and I'm going to put more pressure for you to do your job. Because you have to think about it, it's not just LeBron James. What Rob Pelinka decides to do this offseason is definitely going to leave an impression on Luka Doncic as well. Because remember, Luka hasn't signed his extension yet. So please keep that in mind. Yes, we traded for Luka Doncic because we're planning for the future. We have a superstar, hopefully, if he signs his extension for the next 10 years or so, which is what the Lakers are all about. So I'm not mad at that move per se. But at the same time, Luka Doncic isn't going to go from the Mavericks, who were just competing in the finals, to not competing for a championship, basically going through a rebuild. No, the Lakers retool. We don't rebuild. All right. So that's pretty much the LeBron James situation in a nutshell. Now, on the other hand, I did mention in the beginning of the video that Dorian Finney Smith opted out of his contract, which is very interesting. It makes sense because, Dorian Finney Smith, he's a little bit older now. He just came off foot surgery. He's looking for a little bit of financial security. So I don't think it's necessarily a case where he's looking to leave the Los Angeles Lakers, but he's like, listen, I don't just want a 1 year, $15 million deal. So I want some long-term money and I want some long-term security, which I don't blame him. I don't blame him. I don't blame his agent or his camp. It makes sense. But this does give the Lakers some options because they can put themselves in a position to renegotiate with DFS and come up with a contract that works for both sides. Essentially, a little bit more money and maybe just a long-term deal. But technically, DFS is a free agent, which means that 14, 15 mil is the Lakers' money to use. If they say no, they're like, hey, DFS, we love you, man, but we're going to go somewhere else with this money. The only way I see that being acceptable is if they go after Nickeil Alexander-Walker. And by go after, I mean they're like 95% sure that they can get him. If that's the case, I'm with it. But if not, if it's a long shot, just work a deal for him. In this day and age, 3-and-D wings are not growing on trees. We need guys who are big, physical, can play defense, can hit the three, and that's what DFS is. I'm a big fan of DFS, man. He's a dog. He's super competitive. He makes winning plays, which is what I love most about him. Sometimes he can just really affect the game, even though his stat sheet doesn't scream at you. Those are the type of guys that you want on your team. But at the same time, you want the best talent available. And if we're keeping it real, NAW, he is the better talent in pretty much every facet of the game. Defense, shooting, ball handling, playmaking, you name it. So let me know what you think in the comments in regards to the Dorian Finney-Smith situation. Do you think the Lakers just say, don't even take the risk, just re-sign him, we need DFS? Or do you think we should go after Nickeil Alexander-Walker with the contract that we would pay DFS? Let me know in the comments what you think. So technically, free agency begins tomorrow, June 30th. And the Lakers, they do have some wiggle room. There's time. And also, the Lakers could be in a worse situation, right? But we're the Lakers. We don't think about, it could be worse. We think about what is the best possible position that we can put ourselves in to win championships. That's what the Lakers do. That's what separates us from damn near every other organization in the NBA. We don't think about, it's not too bad. It's, this is the best option we got. Let's go for a title. And I don't know, Rob Pelinka, he's not my favorite. All right, you guys can probably get that impression from my content, but I know the job isn't easy, and I want to make that clear. I'm not saying that he's just the absolute worst, but what I am saying is he is a GM. He's our GM for the Los Angeles Lakers, and other GMs are kicking ass while he's kind of sitting on it for the most part in terms of results getting done. I know he's working. I know he's making phone calls, but at the end of the day, when it comes down to it, are you making phone calls or are you getting shit done? So that's how I feel about it. I think there are still some options out there. Obviously, the Lakers need a center. We need depth. We need legitimate, talented, athletic, defensive-minded players, wings to be more specific. Names like, you've seen my content before. I think Walker Kessler, I'm a big fan of that. I'm a big fan of John Collins. There are other moves to be made. I've heard people toss around Andrew Wiggins, how that could be an option. I think he could be helpful. I'm not the biggest fan. I think he's a little inconsistent, but I think he's better than the options that we currently have on our roster. There's some moves to be made, but it's just all about whether Rob Pelinka can pick up the phone and get the job done. So let me know what you think in the comments, man. I appreciate you watching the video. What are your thoughts on the Lakers' current situation? How are you feeling about LeBron James? Again, should we bring back Dorian Finney Smith? Should we look elsewhere? And what moves do you think the Lakers should make going forward? Thank you so much for your support, guys. I really do appreciate it. We're going to stay locked in, man. There's a lot of stuff coming on in the offseason. And if you want to keep up, again, like the video, make sure to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss anything. And I'll catch you on the next video. Take it easy.